I went down there. I was petrified. Sean was there as well. He was one of the facilitators, and I was just twiddling my thumb in the corner. I was quiet as a mouse, and I got on that mat and I breathed, and just a release of not everything, because not everything comes up, but like my mum came to me in that journey, and it helped me let go of some of that abandonment feeling. I breathed on her anniversary, so that was maybe why she came to me in that journey. My anxiety, my depression, all of those feelings, that tight chest, everything from that first session went.
Wow. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners on the land on which we meet and record on, the Darug people of the Eora Nation. I pay my respects to the elders, past and present. Welcome everybody to a Colourful Past podcast. I am your host, Danny Shannon, where every story told proves that your past does not define your future. Let's go. Today we have Breath Angel Natasha. How you doing, Natasha?
I'm doing well, thanks, Danny.
You're feeling a little bit nervous.
I'm very nervous, yes.
That's okay. This is gonna be such a super gentle discussion. I mentioned a breath angel. Okay, tell me, what's a breath angel? Actually, it's quite a unique name. It's a beautiful name to be introduced. What's a breath angel?
A breath angel is someone that holds space while people are doing their breath work.
Yes. So that's something that you do very well.
Yeah, I love doing it. Yeah.
Who would have known? Hey, you didn't know that you'd be a breath angel, did you?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just started my own journey, and then here I am now.
Guys, welcome back again to another episode. Today we have Natasha. And look, Natasha and I have been connected for quite a few years. Again, funny enough, I believe, did you attend one of my Wednesday night groups?
I did,
you did, didn't you? We just had another guest on recently, Sean Reid, who also was a member of my guest. I love the community that I've built both through the online platforms. Also, there's one person familiar we have. What's his name?
Gary Wright.
TikTok, Gary Wright. Hope Cartel. And when you talk about being a breath angel, we're talking about 9D breathwork facilitation. And it's something that you got into unknowingly because you were a big supporter of Gaz and myself, and you started to see the benefits, and it made you feel a little bit brave and you wanted to participate. Is that
100%? Yeah, I seen Gary's changes when he started doing it, and it just drew me in. Felt like that would be something that I needed, and yeah, it changed my life.
So in the beginning, let me talk this for a second. In the beginning, you started seeing Gaz online. He was pretty out there, wasn't he, in the beginning?
Yeah.
And what you've just said then is you sort of seen the growth in him.
100%, yeah.
And you thought, wow, I need some of that.
Yeah.
And that was true. Well, it was true of a whole number of things, but once you started to see the growth that he experienced through 9D breathwork.
Yeah, it just called me, and I felt like I had to do it as well. Yeah.
I know, and now today, you've actually been viral a bunch of times online.
I have. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah, the quiet girl that just sat in her room is now viral on TikTok.
Yeah, viral on TikTok. All right, Natasha, look, one of the reasons we've got you here today is I have co-facilitated, or I've held space with you in on some of Gary's 9D breathwork sessions, and a beautiful, beautiful thing that happens, okay? So Gaz is a master at his introduction, his induction to breathwork. You know, he talks to people through the thing, and one of the things he does is he gets you to share your experience, how 9D breathwork has helped you come out of your shell, helped you heal, and also part of that to get you to tell your story, which is basically why we're here today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's nice to, it took me a while to get to that stage, the confidence to tell my story, but now that I do share it with people, and people can relate, which that's important. When people can relate with you, they feel like they can trust you, and then they come and do it as well, and they can understand what I got out of it, they can get out of it as well.
So to set the scene, say we've got 50 people in a room, we've got Gaz giving the induction about how breathwork has helped him, but then to, a lot of the people in the room are women, yeah? Let's just maybe look at it from that point of view, and then to have you step in and share your trauma story, basically, and how 9D breathwork has helped you heal, it really does add an extra power. It's very clever. It's very clever that you guys do that. It's so important. And, every time I've heard you do it, I've actually sort of get teary every time because it's such a beautiful story. And to hear somebody who's been through so much pain and come out the other side is nice. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your story? Let's just think about you're doing the induction. You're about to share your story. Just tell me in a little more depth, Natasha.
Yeah.
Over to you.
So I was born in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam. I was a happy little girl. My mum and dad, they were together. They were married, but then they divorced when I was 4. So my dad was in Dutch Mafia, and he used to rob banks and all that kind of stuff. I don't really know too much, obviously, about that because I was just a little kid, but I do remember visiting him a lot in jail. And actually used to think it was like really cool to visit my dad because to me that was normal, So got to see him that way. When I was 9 years old, my grandparents took me on a holiday to Indonesia. I'm also called Indonesia, so we have family over there. Family friends came along with us on that holiday, and I ended up getting sexually abused by one of the family members on that holiday, which was something that it scared me, but I never told anybody. I just kept it as a secret. And later on down the track, I actually found out that his daughter, who was the same age as me, went through all of that till she was like in her teenage years. So when I found that out, I just had this little guilt. I really wish I had have said something, but I know I was just a kid. I didn't know, any better. I didn't know that she was going through that as well. So I've had to work through that to understand that, like that wasn't my fault. That was his fault. He did all of that to her. It's still hard to talk about because it really changed me as a kid. Made me very wary of people, especially men. I still don't like talking about it much, but I'm working on it, and it hasn't come up in the journey yet for me in the breath. It hasn't come up yet. I think because I've just really suppressed that so much, but it will come. I know it will. I just think my body needs to be ready for it to be able to release that pain.
So you went away to Bali at the age of 9. Who did you go with to Bali?
My grandma and grandfather.
Bali? You said Indonesia, sorry.
Indonesia, it could have been, I can't really remember. We went all over. We travelled all over Indonesia. So my opa and oma, that's what I called them. Yeah. The beautiful people. They took me on that holiday, and it was, apart from that happening, I have good memories from that holiday, but then I also know that really, I tried to still be like that happy little girl, but I was just so like scared on the inside because something like that had never happened to me before. I didn't know what that was or why did that happen to me. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Tasha. All right, look, this isn't all about that.
No.
I don't want to have to just make it like, obviously this is such a difficult time for you to share about it. Can we just go back a little bit? You said your dad grew up in the Dutch Mafia?
Yes.
Did you say Dutch Mafia? What is the Dutch Mafia? I actually never heard of it. It sounds like pretty, I know, so European.
Yeah, I'd say, I think it's, I presume it's the same as, like the Mafia that you have in like Italian Mafia, something like that. But this was the Dutch crew.
Yeah.
My dad was pretty liked in that, I know, by the people in that crew. Like I said, I was very sheltered from that a little bit. I didn't really get told too much about him being in that, but he is in a book. So the main, the boss, I suppose, from that Mafia has written a book.
Uh-huh.
And my dad is in that book, but that's to do with his accident that he had.
What accident?
So, my mum, my sister and I, we ended up moving to Australia when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And just before my 12th birthday, my dad was released from jail and he got into a car accident and then he passed away. I've been told that the car accident was a bit of a setup. My dad was passenger in the car. And so that accident is in the book. I haven't been able to read it properly because it's in Dutch. And my Dutch is still as an 11-year-old, so I can't really understand some of the words. But it's believed that the driver kind of set my dad up a bit in that accident. And, he paid that price. He paid for that a year or so later when he ended up walking down Amsterdam and someone from that Mafia group killed him.
Oh, so he didn't die from the accident?
No, I'm talking about the driver of the car.
Oh, okay.
The driver of the car ended up getting killed because he put my dad in that position.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dad died in the accident?
In the accident, yeah.
And that was at the age of 11?
Yeah, it was just before my 12th.
How long was Dad in prison for?
A long time. I know he was in and out for a fair bit. I know he was on the run for a while as well, all around Europe, because I used to get a postcard from wherever he was. I'd get a postcard. Got them still in a big book. But yeah, my main memories with my dad is just visiting him in jail. There might be some early days, maybe when he came and visited, but he had an ankle bracelet on, and there's little things like that. But yeah, I haven't got a good memory of much from back then as well.
And at 9 years old, you guys, who
I was 10.
And when you went to Indonesia?
Oh, when I went to Indonesia, yeah, I was 9.
And who did you go to Indonesia with?
My grandparents, my dad's mum and dad.
Yes. And there was family, friends that were there.
Yeah, that came, yeah.
Have you done much work? Okay, so this is obviously something that's played a huge role on your life moving forward, okay? You were sexually assaulted at the age of 9. And obviously speaking about it is difficult.
It is, yeah. Especially because I have, I've got 4 kids myself. And when I think about that, like, how can someone do something like that to a child? Just like I look at my kids and I just want to protect them from anyone like that,
Tash, can I ask the person responsible, what's happened to them?
Look, I'm not too sure. I remember maybe a few years ago I mentioned something to an auntie of mine that had happened, and that's when she let me know that his daughter had gone through the same, and apparently she forgave her dad. And it was almost like I had to feel like I needed to forgive him, and it just shut me down again.
Yeah.
Because I felt like what happened to me wasn't relevant because it happened to her for many years.
Yeah.
So I just sort of kept that quiet, and I haven't really spoken to the family about it.
Did it only happen once for you?
Yeah, only the one time.
Yeah. So that person was never held
accountable. No, I mean, I think he's quite ill. He might have passed away by now, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he maybe passed away.
Maybe. I know he got sick, but I kind of had to delete her because I just couldn't see his name pop up and things like that. So,
do you know, one of the things that comes to me for that is back in those days, I think these days people don't get away with it as much, but back in those days it happened quite a lot. It happened to you and the person was never held responsible.
Yeah.
Probably happened to other kids as well, yeah.
I mean, he's probably lucky I didn't say anything as a kid because my dad might have, got rid of him, but...
Yeah, you like to think that, eh?
Yeah.
Because, of course, Dad will protect you.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right. So, yeah, hopeful... I don't know if it's the right thing to say, but hopefully he's gone. He's fucking Luther. And hopefully... So that his daughter, is she someone you speak to?
No, she lives in the Netherlands, so I don't speak to them.
You ever thought about making connection with her?
No.
In some ways, you feel like her forgiving him would have minimized your experience there?
I'm not sure. Like, she's obviously been able to forgive her dad. That's her story. Like, I don't know her story. Like, so that's I don't know. I don't know how to answer that because I don't know.
Tash, all right. So what happened from 11 years old? Like, so the next, what happened growing up? Like, did you pick up drugs? What was the story?
Well, so Dad passed away just before my 11th birthday, and then that was January 28th, and then later on that year, so after my 12th birthday, my mum got diagnosed with cancer. So I think she had melanoma, and that ended up spreading into her body, so it went into her bones, and she passed away on the 10th of November, the same year as my dad. So yeah, that was another hard thing, especially being in another country and not having like the family that, I grew up with. But I still had family here, my mum's side of the family, but it was different.
So who looked after you then?
So an auntie took me in, my sister and I in. That's another story again. So yeah, there was some bad days when I lived there with my auntie. I try to keep the peace with her because, my grandma is sick at the moment. So I'm trying to just, I've forgiven her for the things that happened when I lived with her as a teenager. Yeah, don't forget though, like you can forgive someone, but you still remember. She has apologized for some of the things that went on, and it was more like she apologized but didn't really take accountability for her part in it, if that makes sense. It was more like, I'm sorry for the things that happened when you lived with us, but you were a rebellious teenager, whereas I really wasn't. Like, I don't think that I was. Like we used to always, my sister and I, we always cleaned the house all the time. We had our chores to do. But if you would forget to do something because you were busy doing something else, you would get, smack around the head, or you'd get grounded, or it was just, there was always something that we did wrong. And that kind of made you feel like you were a burden in the house.
Growing up before that, had you ever experienced any physical abuse from mum or dad?
No. So if my sister and I, played up or something, mum would sit at the table, she'd bite her tongue. That was her thing. She'd go like this. And then she'd get her slipper and she'd be like, girls. And then we'd be like, and we'd sort it out. So no, mum never laid a hand on us.
So then, then you've lost mum and dad. It's absolute tragedy. Like, I can't imagine for a 12-year-old. And is your sister young?
Younger, yeah. She's 5 years younger.
Oh, my God. So you both, and these have been shipped off to your aunties.
Yeah.
Where then you started to experience a whole nother world.
A whole nother world, yeah. I mean, there were good days as well. It wasn't like every day was bad. Yeah. But, you do remember those bad days more than you remember the good days. Like just little things that you remember, like, my grandma, I was staying at my grandma's house. She asked us to stay and she asked me to go and get her some milk one day. And it was just, down to the supermarket and back, and I got the milk, and next minute my auntie pulls into the driveway, get in the car, you're tiding around the streets. And I was like, I'm getting almost some milk. And then she just told me to get in the car, and I got whacked in the back of my head like I'd done something wrong, and I just couldn't understand. But I was there, like when things like that happen, I was very good at switching off. Like I wasn't there. Like I used to recite my phone number, 97162730. I still remember. I used to just recite that over and over. Yeah. Again, I don't understand how someone can be like that with, just some. I know that she went through, her dad used to hit her as well, but then how can you do that to others? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I would never do that to my kids. Yeah.
Where do you think that phone number, reciting your phone number, comes from? What is that?
I don't know. It was just my way of coping with things.
Phone number was it?
That was my house phone number when I lived there.
Phone number, yeah. You remember that number?
I remember it, like, because that's all I used to say in my head if I was getting yelled at or, you know, and it's getting in trouble for something or, you know, was getting hit. But she would always hit when my uncle wasn't home too. So, yeah, it was just, yeah, I don't know. But I ended up leaving there when I was 15.
What about your sister?
My sister stayed behind.
Okay.
I left when I was 15 and then there was a whole new world again.
Yeah, what happened?
So I was working. I'd left school as well. I was working in childcare. And then I was...
At 15?
At 15, yeah. I was working full time. And I lived down Main Street. I used to live in Whittlesea. That's where I went to high school and everything. And yeah, I lived down the Main Street, which I lived with a girl a bit older than me who I did a childcare course with. And she was 24. I was 15, probably closer to 16. And yes, I'd go to work, come home, and she would have, you know, people like guys there and girls as well. And then some of my friends would come over and it ended up turning into a bit of a halfway house. So, you know, everyone on weekends would come there and we'd drink and smoke and this and that. And then I ended up meeting a boy in that situation there. And my first ever like boyfriend, and I was with him for 5.5 years. We smoked a lot of bongs. I was a bong head, bad, but really bad.
From 16 about?
Yeah, I think I had my first bong actually at 14. My cousin gave it to me one time. Yeah. And then, once I left home, then I just became a bong head. And, you know, we used to be like the dealers in Whittlesea, so everyone used to come to us for their chuff. So.
You're selling pot?
Well, not so much me, he was. But, yeah, it's just like, yeah. We just lived in a caravan on a property and, yeah, we did travel. We did not travel, I wouldn't say travel, but we moved a lot. So, you know, moved all over Victoria pretty much.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was, you know, we always... You know, we'd go shooting, go fishing, like do all that kind of stuff, which was fun. I love doing that kind of stuff. But when I got to about 22, I would want it more from like I couldn't see myself as a future sitting in a caravan smoking bongs for the rest of my life. I wanted more for myself. And then when I decided that I was brave enough to say to him, all right, I'm done, like it's over. He kind of lost it a bit. He ended up like smashing everything in the caravan, went to my car and pulled out all the plugs of my car so I couldn't go anywhere. And then I was like, didn't know what to do because we were out on this farm a bit out of town and I was scared of the dark and all that kind of stuff. Like, what do I do? You know, and I remember waiting till he fell asleep and then at about 2 a.m. I messaged a friend and I said, can you please meet me down the end of the road and pick me up? I need to leave here. So he picked me up and then I was out. And then I did move in with my auntie again.
So that was over? That was your fun?
Yeah, we were done. Yeah, once I'm normally done, I'm done.
Yeah. But that was bravery. You used to sort of take that step and get it. Eh?
Yeah.
I guess that was something you'd started to learn through, you know, I guess first of all losing mum and dad and then having to leave your auntie's place.
Yeah.
And you found yourself in that position again where you were done.
Yeah.
Time to move on, okay.
Time to move on, yeah. So I moved on out of there. I did move in with my auntie again for a couple of weeks.
Oh, you went back to the...
Yeah, it was only a couple of weeks. That didn't last long. And I remember she wasn't home one day and I wanted to get in the house, but I couldn't get in the house, but the window was open about this much. So I thought I'd put my hand in and I'd get my way in. And then I grabbed a few things and then I went out again to go out. And she made out like I'd robbed the house and I was kicked out, but I had nowhere to go. And then a friend of mine lent me her car and I remember just sleeping in her car in the park for I can't even remember how long that was. You know, by this stage I'd also entered the rave scene. So I was partying a lot. I was taking a lot of drugs. Again, like every time I did something, I was masking it with something else because I was so hurt and broken. I didn't really know how to live in a world as like I was still a kid, but I had to be an adult. I didn't know how to navigate any of that. And I didn't have adults to teach me. So my story kind of goes from here to there to there, yeah. I think I remember going to a friend's and she was like, you can't keep living in my car anymore. You need to find somewhere to go. And I moved in with my grandma for a little bit. I slept on her couch. She lived in a retirement village. Bless my grandma. I actually love my grandma so much. We're very close. And I slept on her chair, just a reclining chair for a bit. And then moved to Broadford. Moved to Broadford for a little while. And then got with a boy there. We were together for about 1.5 years. I thought he was the love of my life. It really broke my heart when we split up. But instead of sort of dealing with that, I just went straight on into the rave scene, and then that was it. I was out every day. I was going, every night I was in club dancing. Dancing was one of my real passions. I love to dance. The Melbourne Shuffle. I don't know if you know about the Melbourne Shuffle.
The Melbourne Shuffle.
Yeah. Well,
Techies or something like
yeah, it's just a lot of the rave. It's a rave there. Like, when you go to the raves or the clubs there, everyone does the shuffle. I was actually pretty good at it too. I won a few dance competitions, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the drugs was bad. It was, I did probably everything except for heroin. I never stuck a needle in my arm, but I did everything else. And I did that from 22 till 26.
I was going to say you must be about 26. And are you like going back to, at the age of 9, the sexual assault, are you still running from that? Like, is that in your mind?
I think that wasn't in my mind. I think I full suppressed that. But I think mum and dad was my big thing. Like, even though, it's not their fault that they passed away, but I still had like this abandonment feeling on the inside, and I suppose like a bit like a victim mentality too. Like, why me, and not having someone to turn to growing up, that there was never an adult to turn to. Yeah. That's how it felt.
So you started smashing the drugs, you were getting, running from all these feelings.
Just all the pain on the inside, just running, just like, just pushing it down, suppressing it, and just trying to move forward the best way I knew how. But, it wasn't until I was 26 and I fell pregnant with my daughter that life became a bit more brighter. And stepped away from the rave scene, and now I had someone that I could give all my love to. And
where did you live?
I lived in Sydenham at the time with her dad.
Yeah, in Melbourne.
Yeah.
We have a Sydenham here.
Oh, there, yeah. So I lived there, and she was my world when she was born. It was the happiest day of my life. Yeah. I always tell her, she's 18 now, but I always tell her, you saved my life. You really did.
Does she know some of this story?
Well, we're quite open and honest with each other. But, when you try to navigate an 18-year-old now, I do have to tell her some of my stories to try and keep her safe because she's going out now. So, I'm always telling her, put your hand on your drink, like, this and that. I go, if you touch drugs, I'll send you to Gary or Danny. Like that kind of stuff, yeah.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's, so the first one, your first child's born, she gives you like a new leaf on life, I guess.
100%.
Something, sounds like you settled down a little bit. You got a house, living in Sydenham.
Yeah. Her dad and I, we lived together in Sydenham.
Yeah.
Look, he was a little bit younger than me as well. We just didn't work out. Him and I, we just didn't work out. We butted heads a fair bit. I don't really have anything bad to say about him. We just weren't compatible, and when we split, it was sort of like, all right, we split.
Like you do, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Done. It was,
yeah, I was done. Yeah,
and then you had another child.
yeah. Then I met with another guy. We used to be really good mates back in the day, and he's a really good dad. We got 3 kids together. We have twin boys and then a girl as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cheeky
How old
one.
are your twin boys?
They're 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in year 8 this year, and then the youngest one's 7.
So you and their dad were together for some time, obviously.
Yeah, we were together for about 7 years. Yeah, and then that ended. Yeah, I out of respect for him and this position that we are in now, we're in a really good place. I don't want to really talk too much about that. Also for my kids, I'd rather just skip past that a little bit. Yeah.
All right. So 4 children. Your oldest one's 18. You are still carrying this heavy burden of your parents, losing your parents, and also the thing that happened at 9. And you start to watch some online streaming.
Yeah, well, just before that,
Yes.
so when their dad and I broke up, I was single mum, 4 kids, which, was a bit of a challenge, especially like the youngest one was just a newborn. But, again, I'm okay, I can make this work. And I did. And I was, getting back on my feet. And then I met a guy who I also knew from my past. And he promised me the world. I finally actually thought in that relationship that I had found my happy ending. Like something that I suppose that's what I've always longed for, because I've, this burden feeling. I just wanted someone to love me for me. And, so I finally thought that I found that with this guy, and the first year it was really good. It was great. I hadn't really introduced him to the kids yet. It was all good. Then, that kind of sort of was introduced. But we never actually lived together. It was more sort of separate. When the kids went to their dads, that's when I sort of seen him, that kind of thing. And then, about a year or so into that relationship, things started changing. He was coming off steroids, just, 1 minute you're sitting there all fine, and the next minute it would be like his eyes change and he just would blow up and start punching holes in walls, and you're just like, what is happening? I know he had a lot of hurt on the inside, and when he wasn't like that, he was he's a good person, but he has a lot of pain inside that he needs to work on, but I can't see that he needs to work on. I felt like I could fix him. So that's why I kind of sort of stayed there, because I was, trying to let him see that he is a good person. He doesn't need to do what he's doing, but the drinking and the self-medicating. And when I wasn't with him, I don't know what he was doing, but it was just these mental mind games all the time as well. So I'd be at home and then he'd give me a call and we would have this nice conversation, which then all of a sudden turned to him being upset, which then turned to him getting angry. And then I was the bad person in the conversation. And I was, my head was just spinning. I couldn't understand why this was happening. And then I would just hang up, and then all night I'd be thinking about, oh my God, like I need to leave, all that kind of stuff. And then the next day he would wake up, obviously a bit more sober or a bit more whatever, and he would either not remember. Well, I think he did, but it was like a thing, acting like, or it was like, I'm so sorry, baby, all of that, and then draw me back in. Till about 3 years into that relationship, he came home. He just lost a friend. And I said, come over, just cook dinner. I just got into a new place with the kids. Just put my daughter to bed in her new room. And I cooked us a nice dinner. He came over and he was, came in, and I knew he'd been drinking. So I tried to just keep everything quite mellow, and I gave him his dinner. He started getting a bit all upset and stuff, and I was like, go and have a shower. Just wind down, go and have a shower, and then go and lie in the bed, just relax. And he went into my room, and then he just started losing it. Like I could hear banging, and I heard this massive crash, and so I've run over there into my room. I was like, what are you doing? And he had grabbed my daughter's little JBL speaker and he'd thrown it into the TV, my brand new 75-inch TV. I was shattered. And I was just like, nah, you can't behave like that. My kids are in the house. You need to like calm down. And he just wouldn't calm down. And so you have to go. My kids were still young. The youngest was 2. The boys were 7. The oldest wasn't home. And I'm like, you have to go. So I kind of grabbed his bags, opened the door, put them out the front, and like, you have to leave. And he went outside. I closed the door, and then the garage door must have been open. And he's come around and kicked the door through into the kitchen where I was standing. And he's just come in and just whacked me straight in the head. And my instant reaction at that time was I whacked him back. And I couldn't even believe that I did, I was like, oh my God, what have I done now? And then he grabbed my phone and I was like, get out of my house. I was telling him to get out because I was just worried about the kids. They've never seen anything like that before. So I started walking towards the front door, and then he's turned me around and he just king hit me on my eye, split my eye straight open, and I fell to the ground. And I just remember looking up, and my youngest and one of the oldest one out of the twins was standing. They just come around the corner. And I was petrified, like not for me, I was petrified for them. So I ran over to the little one, grabbed her, told my boy to follow me outside. And I just sat on my front, like nature strip, just yelling for help, screaming. Luckily, my neighbours across the road, maybe we'd only just moved there too, they came across and they helped me. They, diffused the situation. The man, like the husband, grabbed him and kept him. But my son he's normally a really quiet boy, but he was in the guy's face, like saying, well, what did you do to my mom? You hurt my mom. Like he was going off, and I'm just yelling for him to come to me because I didn't know if he was going to hit him. It was just this big ordeal. Ambulance, police had to ring my kid's dad to come and, get the kids. It was a mess. And I, still remember sitting there on the couch and the police grabbing him to take him out, and just the look in his eyes that he gave me when he walked past me. It was like the devil was, staring into my soul through his eyes. It was scary. But I got an AVO on him. He went to jail for 3 months, and then he was released from jail. And I had the AVO, he wasn't never allowed at my house. But for some reason, I needed a closure. I don't even know how to explain it. Don't even know. And it's so stupid when I think about it now, but I felt like I needed disclosure from him, and I met up with him. And
was he trying to get you to meet up with him, or did you?
Yeah, so he reached out.
So it sounds like a little bit of his influence as well.
Yeah. So he reached out, and I was like, all right. So I met up with him somewhere and kind of just got sucked back in. But I was living 2 different lives this time, like now, like hiding it from my kids and then seeing him. It got to a point where he ended up losing his house. He moved in with a friend who passed away. So he had a lot of things that happened, and I just kept feeling like I needed to be there for him. But at the same time, I could feel my life being sucked out of me because I was just constantly giving him everything of me. I got a little bit of a payout when I split up with my kid's dad. And he took a lot of advantage of that as well. So, he wasn't working, he needed rent, he needed this, he needed that. And I was just like, yeah, because I'll pay you back. He needed money for a lawyer. Stupid me gave him money for a lawyer. It was just like, when I think about it now, it's almost like I was being used, but I didn't see that at the time. I was just thought like I'm helping him, like trying to get back on his feet. But then there was still that anxiety around him. And then there was one night where he'd obviously gotten on something and he was, pacing around the house and this and that. And I looked at him and it was instantly I got that feeling of, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like that ick feeling, I suppose that's what it was. Like I looked at him and I'm like, no, this is not it. This is not it. So I broke up with him. But then 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. And I was always someone that said I'd never have an abortion. But I really didn't know what to do in this situation. I didn't know what to do. And, time was ticking, like for if I was going to do that or if I wasn't out of my headspace was all over the place. I was so broken. And I remember I ended up having my boys in the car and I turned around and I said to the boys, look, Mum has been talking to and Mum's pregnant. And the look in their eyes, I knew instantly, like I felt like I failed as mum, but I knew the decision I had to make right there and then. And I just knew he couldn't be in our lives. My kids, it was like it's an instant reality check. Like, what are you doing? Look what you've just done to your kids again, and I knew I couldn't have the baby, and which really, really broke me because that's life, And I knew that he was so mad at me for that. He was so mad at me, I'm a killer, I'm this, I'm that. But the way that he was reacting and the way that he was acting towards me was just more of a confirmation that that's what I needed to do. And but that left me completely broken, like really, really broken. My anxiety, my social anxiety, my depression, everything was just, PTSD was through the roof. All I was doing, Danny, was just taking my kids to school, coming home and sitting in my room scrolling, just waiting till 3:00. I didn't want to do anything else. I just wanted to not, just be in my room. I had my mental health, like I had a thought. It's only ever happened that one time where I didn't know if I wanted to be here anymore. And the minute that popped in my head, I was like, go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor right now. You can't leave your kids. So I just got myself straight to the doctor and I've had a full-on meltdown in the, the doctor. He was a beautiful doctor too. And I got on the antidepressants and it helped because it just made me monotone, like no feeling at all. But I wasn't present for my kids at all in that time, and doing that scrolling and then, seeing Gary online. I was part of Hope Cartel for a little bit then already. And that's, I've met some beautiful people that really helped me, especially Gary, who was really there for me. And like we said before, and then watching him grow, doing his 9D breathwork, counselors wasn't working for me. This is always a trigger. I sit there and talk and then leave and be like, it's still there. Like, how do I get rid of that feeling?
Yeah.
And then Gary started his very first ever session that he facilitated. I was like, I have to be there. I rang him. I said, because it was, he had to pay online. I rang him up. I only got cash. Can I please come? He's like, of course. So I went down there. I was petrified. Sean was there as well. He was one of the facilitators.
Yeah.
And I was just twiddling my thumb in the corner. I was quiet as a mouse. And I go on that mat and I breathed, and just the release of not everything, because not everything comes up. But like my mum came to me in that journey, and it helped me let go of some of that abandonment feeling. I breathed on her anniversary. So that was maybe why she came to me in that journey.
Sure.
But my anxiety, my depression, all of those feelings, that tight chest, everything from that first session went.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of work since that. It's a year ago now.
Yeah.
But I've also done a journey where the baby came to me in that journey, and it was as if it was like that. The baby let me know, like it's okay. You made the right decision. It's okay. It's so, yeah. It's hard to explain, but it's given me peace, and it's given me that breath work has given me I'm a whole new person because of it.
Just anyone listening, Natasha's talking about breathing. She's talking about like getting on the mat, as she said, and going through the process. Can you talk us through what it's like to, you say breathe, but just in case anybody doesn't know, what does that mean?
So it's an activation breath where we go into the belly, into the chest, and then out. It's all through the mouth. By doing that and listening to the headphones, you're going on a whole journey. You don't really get to choose what you want to work on, but it's whatever comes up in that time. By the power of your breath, you can access your subconscious mind and access all that suppressed emotions that you've held on to for however long, and you can release that. That's the way, that negative energy, get it out of your body. And I had a lot stored in there, and I've done a lot of breathing, and I've released nearly everything now. A couple of things that are still there.
That's a really great way to explain it. Thank you, Natasha, because I'm sure, and you also talk about a journey. So what's a journey mean then?
So it's a guided journey in the headphones. It's got, there's heaps going on in there, subliminal messaging, binaural beats. It's all tuned to 432 hertz. It's got a beautiful sound list, music list, and there's so much going on. Brian, who, talks to you and guides you and reminds you, to breathe and all of that. He's amazing how he puts these journeys together. Like
This is incredible.
Yeah. And it just, it's not so much about reliving your trauma when you're going into those journeys. It's about, yes, it's going to come up, but you're releasing it. You're not back in that place. You're not, all of that. It's just, it's going through you, but you're getting rid of it. It's coming out of you. And it's a beautiful feeling to do. It's hard to explain what breathwork actually does unless you've done it. Like, we have a lot of people that come in and they're nervous, and we try to explain the best that way that we can, but it's not till they've done it and they come out of it, they're like, I get it. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You go into this subliminal state where it's kind of euphoric.
It is very euphoric, yeah.
We let out those screams because Brian Kelly prompts you to do so, to release the trauma.
Like the journey goes with the way your body's reacting to the breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would say that 9-day breath work has helped you heal?
Oh, definitely, 100%. Yeah. I used to even come into your lives and I'd be really quiet. Like every now and then I'd type something, or even when we did do on the Wednesday nights, I was always quite quiet and the anxiety would be, if you asked me to talk, I'd be like, oh my God, it's my turn. What do I say? I got really scared, but the breath work has helped me a lot, but I got to say, Gary has really been there for me. I've never really had someone believe in me the way that he believes in me. And, even with the podcast, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know. But he's like, you just do it. You can do it, and just to have someone in your corner like that, it really means a lot. I mean, you've never had that. Yeah, it means a lot.
So beautiful. You've been very brave, absolutely, and thank you so much for sharing your story. Let's go back to where we started, the breath angel. What does it mean to be a breath angel then? So now, like, you breathe, you're healing. You haven't healed, have you? You're healing.
I'm healing, yeah. I mean, anything can happen tomorrow too.
Yeah. So, talk us through like what your role is as a breath angel then.
Yeah, so I breathed a few times myself at first, and then I just asked Gary one day, I said, can I come and help out in a group, hold space? And he's like, yeah, of course. So I helped him a lot. I volunteered and I just wanted to be there because after that first session of holding space for someone else, the feeling that I got from that was helping me heal as well.
Yeah.
And
you're watching somebody else go through this hectic journey.
Yeah.
It's the most extraordinary thing to watch as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's beautiful. I am
facilitator there.
I am now, yeah.
Well.
Who would have thought a year later this is where I am.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm so sorry.
You're right.
Holding space, what does that mean?
So holding space as well, someone's going through their journey, is that you're, there with them. You can see that someone's, deep in. Like when we hold space, we drop into our heart space. So we don't really see adult versions lying on the mats. We drop into our heart space and see the younger versions. When you see a young kid get hurt, what do you want to do? You want to hug them. You want to, make sure that they're okay. So when people are going through their journeys, it's hard to explain, but it's like I can connect with their energy at the time, and I just get drawn to whoever I feel drawn to at that moment. And I just, I'm there to hold their hand. I'm there to, put my hand on their chest. Sometimes I can feel like their energy. I'm trying to help that move to get it out. It's just to be supportive for the person going through their journey.
Yeah. But it's my experience too is, and I've watched it many times, by you supporting that person, you really help them. It's like when you support them, they release. Like, you give them permission.
Yeah, and it's you make them feel safe.
Yeah, you make them feel safe.
You make there because sometimes you don't know everybody's story, and everyone's story is different. So just that gentle touch of the hand or that gentle touch here makes them feel safe, and then know that they can release them. Yeah, it's beautiful. I wouldn't even call it a job because I love it so much.
So this is your job now, right?
Yeah.
Helping people heal.
Yeah.
From where you've come from, and all the shit that you've been through. Would you say that you're in a much better space?
100%. Even my kids have noticed the difference. Like, I'm such a present mum. I have learned via breathwork to put myself first. Like I said to you before, I'm always looking for someone to love me, but I've learned that I need to love me. And now that I'm still learning, I'm getting, I'm learning day by day, but I am putting myself first is the main thing. I always try and do at least one thing a day that makes me feel happy. And by doing so, my kids is the ripple effect in the house. They get a happy, present mum, and they're thriving themselves, and that's beautiful. And they let me know too. Like, they always, they sometimes say, "Oh, Gary, Gary's this God in our house. Look what he did for mum."
Oh, that's hilarious.
But no, they love him, and it's good to see the kid that going to their school activities and stuff, and actually, like I used to do that beforehand too when there was a school thing, but I wasn't present. I was always stuck in here. Sure. Whereas now I'm present and I'm enjoying it, and I'm, being goofy or like,
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Now, what a beautiful gift has been for you, and to be a 9D breathwork facilitator, and to be connected with Gaz, and to be on the journey that you're on today, Natasha.
The whole team.
Yeah.
The whole team. I love them all.
Cool.
Yeah.
The whole team.
Yeah.
Cool. Well done, Tash. So what's next for you? Like, you're accredited. You're literally
I am
accredited to be. So what do you do now? If people want to come and do some breath work with you, how would they go about that?
So not sure if it's on the website yet, but I do know if you want to book a private session and you would like me to hold space for you or do the session for you, you can reach out to the Hope Cartel email. We might have to put that somewhere. I'm not quite sure, top of my head, but reach out to Hope Cartel and ask them for that, and that can be done.
How you feeling now after the chat?
I'm feeling good. Yeah.
It seemed like you're in good spirits. Tash, is there anything else you want to finish up with?
I don't know.
What I'm thinking is, like, you've been through hell, you know. I can't possibly imagine. I'm so sorry that you've been through this. And I say I'm sorry, what I mean is I can't imagine. And thank you for being so brave to share your story. If somebody else is out there possibly, you know, going through some of this stuff and doesn't know how to heal, scrolling, anxious, nervous, waiting for school pickup, just to, you know, I feel like it's some merry-go-round you're on. Would you say anything to those people?
Look, I always was, you know, like, without darkness in our life, there's no light. So it's not always going to stay dark. I mean, come and get on the mat. Like, that will definitely help. But, you know, grounding yourself too, and just taking a few steps back and just sitting with yourself. And, you know, sometimes the outside noise isn't that important. It's how you feel and how you can fix yourself that's important. Reach out as well. You know, don't sit too much, like how I was with, you know, scrolling this and that and everything consumed and just feeling this black cloud. Like, do reach out to, you know, even talk to other people about that, and then try and get the help that suits you. Yeah.
You've had some viral videos on TikTok and probably all social media platforms. I imagine you're starting to receive some messages from people.
Yeah, lots.
Like?
It is nice. It is nice. Sometimes, like, you know, you get, you know, some, we have, you know, we listen to, when we do one-on-ones, we listen to your story.
Yeah.
And, you know, some stories when people are messaging me are just heartbreaking, you know, and I get also a lot from overseas, and I just be like, come over. One day we'll get overseas and we'll, you know, get there and spread it around.
Wonderful. So if anyone wants to find you on social media?
It's Breath Angel Breath Angel Hope Cartel on TikTok and Instagram, and then just my name, Natasha, on Facebook.
Well done. Thank you so much, Tash. I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
Thank you, Danny.
Your story. Love to just give a shout out to our sponsors, our Rewire, Realign. You're aware of it.
I do, yes. They're beautiful people.
Yeah, they are. Both Mick and Nadia at Rewire, Realign, holistic rehabilitation treatment. They're doing some wonderful services, including the breathwork, and I'm sure you've been part of some of those sessions.
Yeah.
Natasha, they do their kinesiology. They have one-on-one counselling with psychotherapists. They do equine therapy. So if anyone is interested, they're in Bundoora, Victoria. Also, Gross Gym's up in Bundaberg. The mental health gym's been a big part of my journey, and I'm super grateful for the ability to, I don't know, get out there. Mental, physical and spiritual is something that I'm always trying to work on. So thank you so much to Gross Gyms. And finally, this podcast has been dedicated in the loving memory of all the lost brothers and sisters that we've lost through addiction. Guys, it's another episode of a Colourful Path podcast. You certainly do have a colourful path, Tash, but here we are today, and you brought that darkness to the light, right?
I have, yeah.
Well done, Tash.
Thank you, Danny.
So much.